This podcast was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Welcome to Australia.
Aussie.
This is kind of tragic.
Someone who is such a connoisseur of reality television.
The content is hideous.
So sorry about this. Oh my God.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
David Geoffrey Hall.
G'day.
DGH.
That's me.
She's here.
In the
She's
flesh.
queer.
Yeah.
Welcome to the pod.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is a
very-
return to my, I haven't been on a podcast for a long time.
How long?
Well, I was trying to add it up.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly when we started and how long it went for, but I was a teenager.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not a teenager anymore.
Yeah. You were a teenager in Perth,
Yes, I was a teenager in Perth.
podcasting about Big Brother.
Yes.
Australia.
Yeah.
And I was a teenager in Melbourne, listening to said podcast.
Yeah.
And then years later, met under other circumstances after you moved here. And then one day, and actually, do you know what is seriously real? Is that I knew I recognized your voice from somewhere.
Yeah, right.
And I always thought, like, you've got a really nice, like, radio voice. I'm serious. Sorry, this pod is going to be a lot of me gushing, by the way. So.
We have known each other for a long time and I did not know this part of the story.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And then when I finally, I actually can't remember how we found it out. I must have said something about,
My dirty little secret.
yeah, your dirty little secret came out, and I was like, and I actually remember being shook.
Yeah, right.
Because I was like, I loved that podcast.
Yeah, we did
so much.
we did it for a long time, and this was like we were number one Australian podcast for a while,
I'll
like
bet.
on the iTunes
Because
charts.
this was way before podcasting was what it is now.
I was about to say, I think Hamish and Andy are
Yeah.
the things that bumped us off number one, and they had a commercial radio show at the time. Like,
I'd love
so-
to say the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, same. It's just me and them.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
They weren't really a thing. Like this was
Yeah.
iTunes days podcast.
Yes.
it was not.
It was
not
not
a
what
thing.
it is now.
Yeah,
Now it's very much like if another person comes into my DMs being like, I'm thinking of starting a podcast, and I'm like, please don't.
yeah,
Just come on mine.
yeah.
Don't just
We did it for a long time though. I remember I was reflecting in preparation for this, and there was a time where we had voicemail numbers in every state and territory where people could call and leave us a message, and then we would play them back and use it as discussion topics on the show. It was a really
That's stunning.
and it was. Yeah, lots of people listened to it.
Because how many seasons of the show do you think you covered?
So I remember watching it as a fan, first series, so 2001.
Yeah.
And then
But because we're about the same age, right?
Yeah.
Because you're way too young to be doing a
Yeah.
pod. Yeah.
Yes.
I actually found a photo. So my parents just sold their house at the family home. They're like downsizing.
Yep.
Which I thought I was going to be sentimental about, but I'm kind of not. But the one thing I found when I went over there the other day was a photo of me in my grade 6 concert. So like the last year of primary school, and I had made a Big Brother t-shirt.
Nice.
Where I'd like painted on the eyebrows and the eye, like I painted on like the logo, and it said like Big Bro.
It
Do
was.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's how. And
Online
then I
you were.
found that and I was like, oh my God, of course.
I wish you still. I did think I was like, do I have any merchandise or something I can wear at the time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my
It
God.
was. I was too young to be engaging with it in the way that I was, I think.
Yeah.
But was a big fan, and then I think it was probably the second series, 2002, where I kind of joined the website, like part of moderating and being a part of what was behindbigbrother.com.
So I was gonna say we're being very cryptic.
Yes,
we are
sorry.
talking about behindbigbrother.com, which does still exist. I've just discovered
It does still
'Cause I was like,
exist.
I'll do 5 seconds of research before you come.
Yes,
over.
the Tim who started it, an old acquaintance of mine, he still runs part of it. It's very different now.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know or weren't around at that time, it was essentially a fan website.
Yes.
And we posted news, gossip, reviews, and there was a forum part of it, and the forum bulletin board, that is what still exists
running, yeah.
and has a existed kind of from the start, or at least from, I think, series 2. The original website was, so it's behindbigbrother.com now. It was, the original URL was something like bigbrother.fuckfriends.net. And I think in the first series was maybe just about posting, like, it was a different time. Posting like screen captures of the nudes that were like shown on the Up Late show, and then it turned into something else. But it was extremely popular for
That's
a really
probably
long
how
time.
I found it.
Yes,
to be honest,
absolutely.
I reckon a lot of people would have found it through nude.
Yeah,
and and they would have loaded like this, like
exactly,
like the JPEGs of Jamie's big old schlong.
Indeed, I think that was a high point in the visitation to the website. But it was really popular. It was kind of everyone was fans though. I got involved because I was so deeply interested in so deeply engaged in being a fan, I think. And the show was so unlike anything else on television, and I think actually anything else that exists in that reality TV format.
Yes.
Like it was so unique, and it was a genuine experiment.
And what I loved about your coverage of it, both the website but mainly the pod, because that was more of a parasocial experience for me, but the web and the pod, you guys were clearly similar demographic to me, watching it with a little bit of you were enjoying the show, but you were being critical about the production, and you were being critical about casting choices, sponsorship thing, and you were having fun, sort of digging at those things. And I'm probably jumping ahead, but I will definitely later be asking you about how you then started to interact with 10 and and other parts of production, which was amazing. But I was just like, oh, this is exactly how I'm consuming this as a fan, but also a fan that kind of wants it to be as best as it can be, and a good reflection of our society. And definitely those first few seasons, they were still figuring it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's, it's a product, and I don't think we were the target audience for it at all.
No,
which is why we were a bit hang on.
Yeah, I think absolutely we're not the target audience.
No.
I think it was rated G to start with, and
Was
then it
it?
quickly moved to M. But it was on primetime evening slot,
Yeah.
and so. And I think a lot of queer people found connection to it because it represented different types of people. And so therefore, not even just the queers that were on it, even though that was transformational at the time, but just other weirdos. And they were trying to make casting choices that were interesting, and that meant you got people who weren't just an Australian of that age looked like at the time. And so I think
pre-social media too, the first few seasons. So it's those people are people that today would probably just be influencers.
I can't imagine what the casting is like now, because everyone has something online, and back then that wasn't part of it. It was, you couldn't Google someone and find all of their trash.
Find out. So the show, the edit, the production, everything, they had a lot of control over how we were perceiving these characters, how we felt about them. Probably less so than now, because now, so I've just finished watching and recapping the reboot, the third attempt to reboot the show, but the first time that 10 has tried to reboot it this year, which I think they would tell you was a huge success, because I think it rated pretty well. I'm still on the fence about it, but I really enjoyed it. But what an experience watching it. Firstly, going on Blue Sky and Twitter during the show live and watching other people comment and stuff is a real kind of fan experience that's fun, where you get to troll these people, and it's very fun. And then also going on Reddit and seeing all of these people reveal stuff about the cast, screenshots of them saying inappropriate things, all of that. like, we've had friends that have been on reality TV that have had people do similar, dig stuff up and try and ruin people's lives and whatnot. So it's very like, that's but none of this happened back then. And it was this like bubble of like, I don't know, it was like quite joyous, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's part of why I think I became so obsessed with it is because it was a genuine experiment. They didn't know what they were doing. It had been on in a few other countries. I think maybe it's a Scandinavian format to begin with.
Or probably Dutch, I reckon.
Yes.
I feel like they all start out there.
And maybe it had been on in the UK, but they didn't know what they were doing. No. And the internet was a different place and live streaming was a different time. Oh my God. And I think they genuinely underestimated how popular it was going to be. Yeah. And it just exploded. And then we had nearly 10 years of back-to-back every year seasons that followed a pretty similar format. Yes,
I just looked
absolutely.
Up. The first season was 95 episodes.
Yeah, right.
This one this year was 26.
Yeah.
So they did 4 weeks, which I think was them dipping the toe in. They didn't want to like invest all this money.
It must cost a fortune.
It must cost a fucking fortune. But they have built the set now.
Yeah, right.
And I say set and not house because it looks like a set now.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like a house anymore.
Yeah.
There's no ceiling.
Yeah, right. Oh, interesting.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
so I haven't engaged with the new series. No. And when you messaged me and said, hey, do you want to come and talk about it? I was like,
nah.
I didn't even know it was on. But I can talk about seasons 1 through 10. And here I am. But part of the reason this is jumping forward, but part of the reason I disconnected from it when it returned was that they first attempted to kind of turn it into more of that game show American style format.
The strategy game.
Yeah. And
also, Sonia Kruger was involved. And she can absolutely get fucked.
Yeah, well, let's not forget Kyle and Jackie O as well.
We have to do Kyle and Jackie O. Was that 1 year?
Or I think maybe they did two.
Yeah. And that was still on 10. But this is very 10. They love to just like fire a host.
Yeah.
And be like, guess what, everyone?
I think they would probably credit it as being successful though. Like the ratings of that season came back, but I think part of it was because of
the season with Rima.
Oh, maybe.
Terry.
Yeah.
Was that Terry winning? The like full racist bogan.
Yes.
And everyone was like, oh, but isn't she just lovable?
Yeah. I think it just felt yuck to me, partly because so I have a deep love of Gretel Colleen, who was the original host. Love you, Mum.
She on this podcast, she is the queen.
Yes, and she, I think it really lost something when she left, and
100%.
Other people should be, people should give it a go.
Listen, mate.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're going to tell me when I've worked on a show for 6 years.
What a masterclass! But just hosting a live show with the X factor being people who are come out of a house after 3 months without any interaction with the outside world. Like she. Every episode was a masterclass of hosting live television. Like
the shit she fucking dealt with on that show.
Absolutely.
She had, firstly, live television, everything going wrong at all times. She had people staging protests on stage.
Yeah.
She had,
the Prime Minister came after the show, and she defended it. And I think she genuinely believed in the format and its ability to kind of show a reflection of culture and society.
Definitely.
And I bow down to her.
And the way you're right, the way she defended the show, like it was hers, I love that. Like having a host. It's similar to the way Jeff Probst and Survivor are one in the same. Like he is that show, but unfortunately Granddad has kind of fallen off the wagon in years. I think he needs to have a little rest.
Yeah, right.
That's not a hot take. But Gretel was the show for me.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And she I think she had a really important part to play in the kind of housemates experience because she was their connection to the outside world, and that I think is maybe like a soft part of the skill of doing the show. And I watched a bit of, well, actually a lot of the UK series that Davina McCall hosts. Or did host at the time.
Davina McCall. And I got to say, though, did you watch any of the Emma Willis years?
Oh, no.
She was also very good. Now they have AJ Adudu and Will Best.
Yeah.
Also works, but it's never going to be Davina. I'm coming to get you.
Yeah,
That was like, and out of respect to her,
Yeah.
the new hosts do not say that.
Yeah, okay,
Like,
great.
which I love. Like,
Yeah.
that's her IP.
Nice.
But the new hosts do work. Like, it's, I got to say, because I watched, similarly, Big Brother UK have revived it 3 years ago now. And so they've just put out the 3rd version of their new one. It's on a different network and everything. I got to say, it's fucking good.
Yeah, right, okay.
It's like the old days.
The Brits just know how to cast reality
It's
TV,
casting.
though.
It's
and
1000% in the casting.
Yeah.
And then minimal intervention. Like, they will intervene for story when required, but they try not to. It feels very purist
Yeah, sure.
in that way.
Nice.
But the formula is you get trans people with disabilities, people of colour that are very activist, and then you get Tories, and you pretty much 50-50.
Yeah.
And they go. But that is, to me, that is the UK.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then they have political arguments. I want to see that. This
Yeah.
a fucking Australian reboot. Oh my God. It was a bunch of people that were like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. They had like one conversation about like the gender pay gap and everyone freaked out. And then after that, it was like back to everyone tippy-toeing around everything. And I was
so
like, missed
disappointing.
opportunity.
Yeah. I think if reality TV can't have these kind of sophisticated conversations, then where can it happen?
And they don't even have to be sophisticated. Like, I would actually love to watch someone who like has no clue.
Try and engage.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, did you watch the Courtney Act season?
Yeah.
Of Celebrity Big Brother UK?
Yeah.
I loved that because she's really good at speaking, right? Like, she doesn't always know everything about what she's talking about, and that's fine. But the way she engages with people is very compassionate, and that's why she won, because she won over. They put a right-wing politician in that season. And Courtney just listened to her. She was
I
like,
was about to say,
she goes,
listening.
can you tell me what your problem is with queer folk, with immigration, with all this? And she just listened. And that woman
Let
was
them dig
like,
their own hole.
exactly. There's cameras running.
Yeah.
The camera's rolling. Courtney knows she's got the audience already, or a good portion of it. This bitch just like dug her own hole. Genius. Like, it doesn't even have to be like equal playing fields, but no, the casting is such a big part of it. I was thinking before about season 1 and cast members that hooked me in as a child.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, Andy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Andy for me was like the hook because she went in with, was it a Charmander toy or something? She had like a Pokemon. She was like, I'm a dominatrix, which I was like, what's that? And then she loved Pokemon.
Yeah. And she, like that, I think that was probably the first scandal on the show, was they had a get to know you, what is it called, task or something, and she had like her leather whips or something, or nipple clamps or something, and and she like, you know, whipped someone and they fucking put it on air, and then there was this big kind of thing of like, is that her kink, therefore is it sexual, and is it overly sexual, or were they just engaging in tomfoolery? I don't know. And I think that was like one of the key moments where the like society looked at this show and was like, wait, hold on a minute, what's going on there on prime time every single day of the week for 3 months at a time? What's happening? Good. Yeah, she hooked me in. The casting of the first, I recently started rewatching some of the first series.
That's why it came back. And even on her entrance to the house, Gretel was like, oh, you know, and it was so clunky but amazing. Gretel was kind of like, oh, you know, what have you been up to in preparation for this? And she's like, She was basically like, I've just been having like a fucking bender. And this is like,
Yeah.
you said it's G-rated show. And Gretel's like, oh, okay. And she pretty much alludes to having like group sex at her house. And
the
I was like, I
innuendo
love this
of
woman.
the whole thing. And actually, that's something that Gretel was an absolute master of, is that kind of real
On the
balance
line.
between like a certain audience picking up what she's putting down, and then another audience just kind of flying over her head.
Yeah.
And that first season did have I can't remember his name, but he's gay.
Johnny.
Johnny, yep.
Who, gotta say, rewatching, fucking hot.
Yeah, babe. Yeah.
Like, hot.
Who else was season 1? That was.
Let's get it up.
They must have been like in their 20s or something.
Yeah,
then,
totally.
you know?
And
like,
then we were what, 13, 14?
Yeah, yes. Okay.
Watching it being like, hang on, here, let's get up the cast of season 1.
That's and season 1, the best eyebrows and the Big Brother eyes.
Oh, but okay, so it was Ben, Blair,
Sarah Marie.
Sarah
So
Marie.
as someone from WA, you know, she was representing Blair.
Was she from WA?
Yeah, she was from regional. She lived in regional WA because she worked at the strippers in Kalgoorlie or something. Yeah. Remember she released the bum dance, like a song.
Do
there was a
I?
whole song about it.
We've got Gordon,
Gordon, yes, R.I.P.
Lisa P. Okay,
And
I remember Peter being quite cute as well.
Don't remember Anita. Gemma, she was something. Gemma, she was.
Gemma was a raunchy girl.
I remember them making lots about the fact that she liked to wear makeup. Like that was a storyline that they kept pushing.
They cast
along.
her as a vixen.
Yes.
I forgot the Ben one. See, in my mind, Sarah Marie won because she won Miss Congeniality.
She won the popular vote.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. But this was a time also where I think the pipeline from Big Brother to commercial radio breakfast hosting was like quite a real thing for a while. But this was before that time.
Was that this season as well?
Oh my God, that is
it's strange.
Big Brother is watching. Yeah.
Was that this season?
Oh my God.
It might have been 2.
Yeah.
Because that was when they were like, guys, make a song. Because this was around the same time. Was Australian Idol around the same time as well?
I think it started a couple of years later, yeah.
So it was very like the same thing of, CD single available insanity was the commercialized way of doing it, which is like so strange.
There was one series where they released all the music that they used to like cut the episodes together on CD. I tried to find that to bring along, but couldn't.
I want to know what Johnny's doing these days.
Well, all of their names are there. We can find out.
I reckon he's on the HGH train, living in like Woolloomooloo.
And this time, like you would have had to escape. You were beamed into people's lounge rooms in a different way. And back then the show, it ran Monday to Friday. There was a weekly show, so half an hour produced episode of the day prior, and then
that turnaround as well.
Totally,
that would be a whole new thing. Like for networks to be comfortable airing something that had only been edited that day.
And I remember watching. There's an episode that either was after the season or was on like a 7:30 or a news thing about how they put together the Daily Show, and they had to get it to the censor to watch it and then give it its rating in the afternoon before it went to air. Let alone the live shows. Like you were getting like 7 or 8 episodes a week of either live format or Daily Show format. So these people were. Yeah. That's more than reality shows now. Like you get a couple of days in 45 minutes.
And it was, I think, you that taught me this, but the Australian content quota was the reason for that, which I love that we have. Yeah. And we still have. I think, was it ScoMo tried to get rid of it when he was Prime Minister, but it didn't happen.
Well, hasn't it just come back, or they're increasing it or something like that?
They're doing something.
Yeah.
And then because the Hot Dogs Upplate game show was that was a real girl. That really was a rough spot.
Yeah, that was a rough spot.
But that was like so obviously content quota stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was on at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, and some nights all the housemates were asleep. Like, and so he just had to play games, and they had an SMS line. And
what a show!
Yeah, it started jumping the shark then. Yeah. I think.
See, this is what chat me about the reboot this year was in the promos. We were promised it's all going back to original, which I knew they weren't gonna actually achieve. But they really were, and they put every episode of the past seasons on YouTube.
Oh yeah, right.
And
okay.
they were like, here you go.
Yeah,
They
interesting.
they started doing on their socials all this stuff with all the old season content and really like driving nostalgia, getting us all riled up. And then what they gave us was, I would say, a PG version of what the UK is doing currently.
Yeah.
It even looked really similar.
Yeah, right.
But they didn't give us anything like these seasons.
I don't know if it can be
it can't.
anymore. The world has changed too much.
We have TikTokers now.
Yeah.
And that's the people that want to be on the show, and that's who they put on.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah. The only thing I got from the new show was the like the beautiful straight bogan with feelings.
Colin.
Yeah, so he just came up on my reels constantly.
So gorgeous.
Yeah. Did he win?
No, he came third.
Right.
Audience
voting?
Yep.
Okay.
Of course. Yep. Audience voted. It was free to vote.
Yeah.
And you voted on the 10play website.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or app. And you
Yeah.
could only vote once
Yeah.
per round, which I thought was strange because sometimes the rounds of voting were a whole week long. And so you
Yeah.
put your vote in and then you're watching a whole week of the show and you're like, oh, and you can't take it back. And you're like, oh, I fucking hate that person.
I'm just
now.
remembering a scandal that I think that we broke, or at least helped perpetuate.
Let's get into scandals.
Where one of the housemates had, so you weren't allowed to wear brands, all the brands were covered up. And he and his mates made a shirt that said MLS on it. Massive Loser Squad was their like friendship group.
Okay.
But his friendship group outside of the show was selling the t-shirts for money, and then the I don't know if it was ever proven, but they were using to vote for him.
It was Fitzy.
Yes, yeah, right.
Here you go. It was season 4. Okay, so this season, I think this was one of my favourite seasons.
Yeah, okay.
I think, was this when they introduced Uncut, season 4?
No, it was there from the start. Yeah, season 1.
It was there from the start?
Yeah.
Oh, it was too. I've just been rewatching. But Fitzy, that was when Uncut got really good.
Yeah, and they moved it later as well, so that
yeah.
it could be R. Oh, not, I think it could be R, but it could
I remember
be
the
whatever.
pink bathroom.
Yes,
it
oh
was
my
a hot
God,
pink bathroom.
yes.
Oh my God, so Ryan Fitzy, and crazy that of all people from this show, he's been one of the most successful. But hey, he was onto the marketing.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't remember this scandal, so.
They were selling t-shirts, they were making money, and the kind of the argument or the thing was no one else is able to do that, and is that money being used to pay for SMS votes? Because back then it was like a 1900 number, it cost 55 cents to vote.
You go the money you raised from selling t-shirts to buy phone votes. Oh my God, I'm picturing someone like sitting in a dingy apartment like with like 5 Nokia 3315s just like texting. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and maybe I feel like they took the shirt off him.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Make Lisa leave? Make Lisa stay? Is that what it stood for?
No, it was Massive Loser Squad.
Massive Loser
Yeah,
Squad.
that's how he and his friends referred to themselves. Yeah.
Oh, here you go. You can find out more details about this and other classic moments or fan forums like Behind Me Brother.
There you go. Yeah.
Always ahead of the story. And
we were too young to be breaking some of the stories that we were. Yeah. But the website did have a key part in the fan experience, and some of the, in my opinion, and also, certain fans, but also led some of the more public discussion about the show because of things that we covered that the official website or the official shows were not covering, and
how did you get the scoop?
No comment on some of it. Okay. So there, we received tip-offs from people.
I guess it was a forum, so there would have been people just in there anonymously.
It was more that they directly kind of contacted us with stuff, and so some stuff came that way.
There must have been people from production, right? Because this year there was someone on Reddit this year claiming to be from production. Unfortunately, there were no scandals really this year.
Yeah.
But there was tired and cranky production staff on Reddit just whinging, being like, there's no one working on this show. The budget is nothing. We are all exhausted. We're being asked to make it like Love Island.
Yeah, right.
The EP's from Love Island.
Yeah,
and I'm
sure,
like,
okay.
girl, I could have told you all of that just from watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no scandal. I was a bit like, no.
So the big scandals that hold out in my
Yeah.
mind, and I do have somewhat uncomfortable feelings about them and my, I guess, involvement, just because
Sure.
I was so young.
Yeah, totally.
But again, I think it came from a fan place
Yes.
and from a desire, expectation, want for the show to do better and to serve its purpose.
And that came across as
right.
a listener and a fan of Behind Big Brother.
So the big ones that come out that I remember are Chrissy Swan, who is
a legend.
a legend. She was runner up, so survived like 90 days or something in there. There was basically she overheard while she was undressing a cameraman make a comment about her weight.
That's right.
Yeah, and
was this season 3?
I don't
It's
know.
her and Reggie, wasn't it? Let's find out.
Yeah, was she or 5, 3 or 5?
Let's find out while you continue.
So the mid 2000s. So she overheard this comment. Fucked. Like, that is fucked in all respects. And so
3.
So she went to the diary room and spoke to Big Brother about it. And the show just didn't cover it in a way that was very reflective of its... Well, sorry, they just didn't address it directly. And we... so at the time, I think even now, they... to backpedal a bit, they live streamed it online. And the official Big Brother website would have a diary where it... a little roundup of like, this is kind of this is what happened. But it was very dot points. It was very brief. Yeah. And so we, as dedicated fans, had people all around who essentially just watched the live stream and recorded it, like screen captured it.
Because you knew that stuff was going to come up.
And we did it on the Behind Big Brother forum, did an alternate diary of everything that was happening. And so we just went back over it and were like, what happened at that time? And they were a bit like, there was less delay between it going online and sometimes
was it moderated at all?
It did. They did used to cut it off occasionally, but it was very... I think someone had to do it.
Because this year, I heard that there was always a lawyer watching it at all times, and they would cut away. Apparently, there was one conversation that started on the live stream this year that was about their contracts.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, that's the shit. Like, I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
And then it cut to... The thing they would cut to is the laundry, a shot of the washer and dryer, which must be like Samsung or something. So the washer and the dryer became characters of the show from the fans this year. And I've got to give it to 10. They did. It was a small thing, but in the finale episode, Mel, the host, acknowledged it in her speech. She's like, we've had a great year. She's like, the love stories in the house between Colin and Holly, Bruce and Coco, and of course the washer and dryer. And I was like, that's all we need.
Totally. That's listening to the fans. That's engaging with the fandom. Yeah. And you have to, like, that is it can't exist in a bubble.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, the live stream, I did fuck with it when it was actually good, but this year I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
am I doing that?
I was surprised that it came back. I was like, oh wow, this is an attempt
and
to go back to the original.
A lovely lawyer got paid to watch the whole thing.
Anyway, we kind of wrote a story about what had actually happened. Yeah.
So she heard the comment. She was obviously upset by it,
absolutely.
and then they couldn't find a way to like make that make sense in the storytelling.
Yes, yeah, and then I think they did eventually address it, either the next day or a couple of days later. But I do firmly believe that it was us talking about it that made them have to address it because it existed online, she actually spoke about it this year. I googled it, and she said that the cameraman was taking photos of her.
Whoa.
Yeah, fucked. Really fucked.
Look what happened to her career. So
yeah, totally.
Fuck you
jokes
all.
on them.
Yeah.
And the big one was the turkey slap. Like,
well, so I have a story about this.
Yes, okay,
as well.
please.
But no, I want to hear yours first.
So,
This was season... I was in university at this
Was
point.
it 8 maybe?
I think it was maybe 9.
Yeah, 2008,
Let's have a
2009. So late, many series in.
Oh, yeah, before Tim Dormer. It was... no...
I think it was...
Actually, it might have been 7.
Yeah, right. Okay. So at the time they were streaming it online. It was and we had people recapping it and people recording the stream.
Yeah.
And it was very late in the morning, like maybe 4:30 or something.
Yeah.
And they were like in the bedroom, the night vision in the bedroom.
Yes.
Having, 2 guys and a woman are having a conversation.
2 guys whose names were both John.
Yes, both John. Yep. Having a conversation, and then one thing leads to another, and one of them like slaps Camilla's face with his balls, basically.
2006.
And she says at the time, "That's not cool, guys."
Yep.
And then the feed cuts. And then she's very upset about it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mentioned in... it's not mentioned in the Daily Show that happens the next day, but the 2 boys are removed from the house the following afternoon, and then it just is a bit weird from the viewer experience as to why. And Big Brother, the production, comes out and says they've been removed for breaching the rules, and we're not talking about it anymore. And we were like,
Good luck with that.
Yeah, what actually happened? Anyway, so I think it was a guy in Canada who recorded the stream. But we went back over it and found the fucking video, and if you look the video up, it has behindbigbrother.com watermark in the corner, and you don't see the turkey slap part happen, or you see it's kind of over there. But we just put it online and said this is actually what happened, and they had to address actually the fact that it was sexual assault, and that's the time when John Howard came out and said this show should be taken off air.
Cancel this bloody show.
Or Channel 10 should use it as a moment of self-reflection or something and get rid of it. Like that they wouldn't have it, and it started a conversation about sexual assault and about these like kind of ladsy thing that happened, and how fucked it was. And I think the conversation now would be very different, but it was a conversation at the time that was not happening anywhere else. And I think a lot of people would have probably seen that and have done that to someone and been like, recalibrate.
I remember being really impressed by, and again, so young, but for context, so it was 2006. I was studying media studies at Swinburne University, where not John, John Ashley, the other John, was also studying.
Yeah, right.
And we were doing a fucking unit about television, and he gave a lecture at our school about the whole experience, and it was amazing.
Yeah, right.
And I remember being really impressed. He was great. He was just like, I've learnt so much from this. They absolutely did the right thing. Like neither of them were mad about how the punishment or whatever you want to call it, the action that was taken was, which is great. But also, I think the way that the show platformed Camilla's voice, at first it was a bit like awkward because she was really upset because it was like conflicting for her. Her friends in the house had just been removed. So she was upset about that. But she also understood that what happened to her wasn't okay. So that was really, I thought the nuance of that conversation was really impressive to just show it. And I think they tried to bury it, and then, thanks to fan sites like yours, they weren't able to. So they had to just, all right, I guess we're having this conversation publicly.
They were not happy with us.
Of course not.
We received many, that was one scenario, but we received many cease and desist letters in our time. And the website was never hosted, it was never physically hosted in Australia. And so we kind of could get around being like, well, it's in Switzerland. So
it's hosted by fuck friends in Bermuda.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The producers didn't like us. They weren't. They weren't.
No, of course not.
Happy with us.
Did they reach out ever to like try and involve you in
Yeah.
any way.
Yeah, there was one particular time I
Yeah.
remember a series was starting or finishing, and they invited Tim, who was it was his brainchild. He's the administrator of it. They invited him to come and watch like a production of a live show or something.
Yeah.
Maybe the launch or the close. I can't remember. But declined.
Wow.
Don't want to be involved in that way. But there are a few different executive
So you
producers
guys were
along
in
the way.
Perth, right?
Yeah, totally.
I was like, how fucking you get to the Gold Coast? to go
And
to
kind
a
of
show?
anonymous
And
at that time too.
Yes.
Like part of it was an age thing.
That's
like
right.
I
You had like aliases.
yes,
didn't
we
you?
had aliases. And I I was a teenager. Like
Yeah. Crazy.
And then I think there were different executive producers. Some engaged with us slightly more than others. But it was predominantly through the legal people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there was one year where, do you remember 3 phones? Like those original video flip
Yes.
phones?
There was a 3 season that was very much like,
product placement.
Yes.
Really became a thing.
and there was Chicken Treat.
Yes.
I loved you guys would always refer to Chicken Treat, which I didn't understand being in Melbourne, but the first time I visited Perth and saw one, I was like, I get the joke now.
Where was I going with that train of thought?
Oh, sorry, 3.
3. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So this was like the beginning of mobile internet, before smartphones really. And if you were a 3 customer, you got like additional content online or something. And the like
Additional turkey slap content.
the video, the website developers, just to be totally honest, did a shit job, and it was very easy for us or the people in the forums, to kind of figure out the URLs, and we found all the photos of all the housemates before the series.
Yes,
launched.
I remember this.
Maybe even 2 years in
And
a row.
of course, you weren't gonna just.
No, we just
sit on
published
that.
it. Yeah, so the little at the top of the website where all the
my
faces
God.
are, like 2 days, 3 days before it went up, we put all their faces there. And they thought we had
Bless.
hacked
Yeah.
the site, and I was like, it's not our fault you kept it publicly available.
yeah.
We just had a poke around.
It's not hacking if teenagers can do it.
Exactly.
Easily. And
Yeah.
Gone are those days where.
Yeah.
Because, I was similarly savvy sitting at home doing this shit. and
Tinkering. The internet was a different
It was
place.
so easy to tinker.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And there was a few years also where we had people who would go to the live. So the housemates going in was recorded the night before, just because it's a long show to package up and turn into something.
That's right. They did that this year as well.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Which was a bummer, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like the launch to be live.
We had people in the audience who just called us or called a number, and we recorded it. There was a few years where we streamed it as well, and they would shut down the thing and be like, we're not continuing until whoever's on their phone is like, we know that it's happening. And
It's so crazy though, because they're making this show for the fans, but then also like annoyed that the fans are like,
I guess
smart.
they had to protect their
Yeah,
intellectual property and the sponsorship thing. Like it had become so big that it had to be so managed within an inch of its life.
Yeah,
and it at the end of the day was a live show
Yeah.
that was far less produced than it is now in terms of storyline. And so everything was an X factor. Like what some rando person who'd been in lockdown for a couple of days before, well, I think even a week maybe, in a hotel room, is all of a sudden thrown on live TV in front of like thousands of people.
Crazy.
To their it is bonkers. It is so bonkers. Yeah.
This season 6, 2006 season was fucking stacked.
That's so many
so it was
housemates.
so it's like you got Farmer Dave, which was like incredible casting.
Yeah, yeah.
The Dave and Michael thing, the kiss that I'd like to know who told you that. that
Yes,
happened.
yes. Oh my god.
And then you've got Turkey Slap.
Yeah.
You've got Jamie and Katie. This was an incredible season.
Yeah. And what year did you say it?
2006.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
Wow.
There must have been lots of intruders.
And the mum daughter,
Oh, yes.
Crystal
Oh
and
my
Karen.
God. Yes, that's right.
This was probably my peak of interest, I reckon.
Is that the year that they swapped them in and out, or that was with other
that
other
was the
twins?
I think that was the year after or before the Logan twins.
the Logan
Was that-
twins. That's right. Yes.
was that 7? I tapped out after I tapped out with Gretel.
Yeah, I think I
you
tapped
the
out
same?
spiritually.
Yeah,
I think I hovered around. Maybe we even did the podcast the first season
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
I remember I'd moved to Melbourne and we were recording it in Melbourne, but very quickly it lost the original format. I think,
Which I think was 2007.
Yeah, it
Wasn't
lost.
it? Was this Gretel's last season?
Uh,
I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, this is not even.
it had a break. It ended. There was a break, and then it came back.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe it was then. Maybe
And then it came back with.
was Sonia first, or was it Kyle and Jackie O
I think it was Kyle and Jackie O first.
Yeah. Yeah, and they did 2 years, I think. Yeah.
Oh, Terry.
That was a push for ratings for their like they had commercial radio interest, you know. Like I think it was really trying, like, let's get some hosts that have some gravitas and will bring some new fans into the show, and it probably did. Oh, excuse me, my Tamagotchi's going on.
You didn't feed that baby. When was Corey Worthington?
Oh, Party Boy.
When did that happen? I'm like, this is all a blur.
Yeah, he only went in for like a bit, right? I think they kind of like parachuted him in,
right. Yeah,
because he was popular.
Yeah,
and it was
that might have been this season.
Yeah,
I'm looking at here.
There were a few times where they brought people in. I think one of the most shameful periods of the show.
I know what you're about to say.
Was where they put in a trans woman named Miriam into the show, who was on a reality TV show in the UK, which is so fucked, called There's Something About Miriam.
Have you listened to the podcast about that?
Oh, no.
It's called Harsh Reality.
Okay.
I highly recommend it. It's beautifully researched and interviewed. It's an investigative documentary about how unethical the whole production was. They interviewed, there was a psychologist that was brought in last minute, and they interview him about the whole experience and just thing. And then they interview a lot of like trans people in media about like just perceptions. It's really good. Everyone has to listen to it.
Yeah, right.
But,
okay.
And they also bring up that she was in the Big Brother Australia house as well.
Yeah, so they parachuted her in,
Yeah.
and I think it was something. The week's challenge was to like figure out what's up with Miriam. Like this is
gross.
It's so fucked, and this is primetime reality TV. Imagine the layers of people that had to sign off on this. You know, like this is it. It was a serious low point, and I remember letting them have it. You know, like it was it was so disappointing to profile someone in that way. I mean, ultimately it was cooked. It was not
Who was
good.
the host of it when it was on 9?
Was that Sonia?
Was that Sonia?
Yeah.
So she followed it from 9. Oh, so did Sonia Krieger was the host, and Mike Goldman was involved as well.
I think
how strange.
Yeah, I mean he still is, right? He still narrates it.
Yeah, that was a cute little thing to bring back. That made it feel like.
I don't think he was
old
very much of a
days.
fan of us either, probably.
No, probably not.
They did used to, so there were lots of, particularly in the later seasons, there were housemates who were obviously fans of the show because it was so big and had been around on our forums, and they would mention it on the live show, be like, oh, we've heard this rumor or whatever, bam, cut the feed.
Because were there any scandals post 10? I feel like it kind of petered out. I've heard a lot about Tully and Tim Dormer. I met Benjamin Norris recently at a Survivor thing. He's got a podcast about reality TV as well, but I don't really know these. They're not canon for me. Sorry, guys.
I can't second wave. Yeah, the OG.
Yeah.
I can't remember big scandals, but I did disconnect from it. The
Yeah.
show, I think I was in a different place in my life, and the show, it lost its je ne sais quoi because it had become a pipeline to getting a breakfast radio show. Like, to be totally honest, and
Because everyone saw what happened with Fitzy,
Yeah.
Chrissy, who else? I don't know. I feel like didn't Brie Amar even have a short-lived
and
TV career?
I can't remember his name. Maybe Nathan, queer guy from WA, who is I think still hosting breakfast radio
Really?
in WA. So there are people that made it work and like deeply funny Australian personas that started there. It's like Kylie starting out on Neighbours. Like there are people in the Australian zeitgeist who found their feet on this show.
It was a launch pad of sorts.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a, it's my niche topic of interest, but I do still have a deep passion for what it was at the time and what it did. And I think Australians have cultural cringe, right? And
absolutely.
Name of the podcast.
Yes.
And I think I think it's really hard to articulate what it means to be Australian because we haven't reckoned with our colonial past. And I think until such time as we do that, it's hard to I think now impossible. Like, what is Australian culture? What is Australian?
I'm trying to think. There's been very few Indigenous people on Big Brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Handful.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if one hand, actually.
Yeah.
But I think that the show and the casting of it, certainly that first kind of first 8 years of it, did showcase a really broad, what's the word? Sweep of Australians in different stages of
particularly
life.
for the time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
because no other show was representing like, I hate to say like everyday people or whatever, but like they actually, like, even looking at these cast photos now, I'm like, God, they were average people. They weren't like super hot or anything. That kind of did change in the middle there.
Absolutely.
They started putting hotties in.
Yeah.
Which, like, also not mad about, but like, and then you could tell who had been cast for their interesting personality and who had been cast for their huge cock.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And it did, I think it did, some of the casting didn't work out.
Yeah.
And people were not great TV in there, and others that they probably didn't expect were amazing television.
Yeah. Who do you think, like, we talked before about like Andy being like kind of formative. Who are some other characters that, like,
I think Regina, who won that Chrissy Swan season.
Yeah.
So she was like, run a fish and chip shop in Tasmania or something.
I think she's on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
She's popped
this
up
year.
again and again. I think, did she win $500,000 or $1 million or something?
She's beloved by the nation.
Absolutely. And I think she had a really broad, she had a thick accent. It wasn't hugely political, like, was just a real salt of the earth kind of person. But I think captured an Australian personality that couldn't be written, you know. She was really, really real. Same actually, and Chrissy was an amazing housemate. She and they were in there for 3 months, I think, and so you got these really tight relationships and friendships between people that wouldn't normally have crossed paths.
Because this was a casting model for a while. I remember it on Australian Idol as well, which I was equally as obsessed with. But they would stress that they had been to regional places, and that's how we met Jessica Malboy at the first time they did auditions in Darwin. Shannon Knoll, they were like very proud that they'd found these people. It was like, we've discovered we've left no stone unturned. We found these like kooky characters from like random places, and I liked that. Like, we don't really do that on telly anymore.
Yeah, and I think just in life, we're a big country, and there are cities, there are regional towns, and there's the bush, and
bush, totally.
And there are Australians in all and from all walks of life, and deeply multicultural, and all of that stuff got represented in some way on the show. Like, I remember as a young queer kid, I don't think I'd seen a queer person on television, or at least not in you know, like a Dawson's Creek character or something like that.
And sometimes they were characters that were being played by straight actors, and that's not really the same thing. Like, genuinely knowing that the person you're looking at is that person, and then seeing how they interact with a group of straight people.
Totally.
That was hugely formative for
me. And I think some of those early queers on the as in early.
Who else was there? Was it Nathan?
Nathan, yeah. So he was the one from WA.
And he was also like, he was kind of a chunky guy.
Yeah,
he was gelled hair.
Spiky hair.
I loved him.
I think he described him. He was like, I'm a storyteller, and he was hysterical. He was so funny and got very far towards the end. But I think I learned so much about. He was teaching the other housemates about gay sex, and there was an uncut show at the time, so it was on at like 9:30, adults only kind of thing. Fuck knows how they got that show off the line. It got canned.
So good.
But they would have these really explicit conversations about casual sex, about fucking, about just anything. And I think I learned a lot about sex and about human connection from watching these things. Way too young, inverted commas.
Yeah.
But it again, different time. You learn that from like one Google search these days. But back then, this was on TV too. I was watching it in my bed, like in my bunk bed, with my brother above me on the TV in the bedroom. Oh my god!
I think for me, like the Farmer Dave Michael thing was particularly like. I don't know. I was particularly like locked in on that because I was out in high school from like year 7 pretty much with no one else out. Yeah. So I felt like Farmer Dave in that way where it was like there's people here that are queer but aren't out and I'm going to have to do all of the navigating of that for them. Yeah, totally. And it felt like, look, we still don't even know what the fuck went on there. But I think there was some, it was just, I think there was some like curious flirting, which also happens to you a lot when you're out. You get kind of like, interested, curious guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of baiting you and shit.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
And then to watch him get so upset about having it be... outed. I know, it really affected me. I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, I agree. And I think those, Tim Brunero was one of
my God.
housemates, and he was very loved, I think.
Was he a journalist?
Yeah.
That
he was a journo.
I can't believe they cast a journalist. Like,
deeply, very intellectual, amazing guy. He was a friend of the website. I think he came on the podcast a few times. He communicated with us a lot. He was on the forums, and he had a real problem with the show. Because of the care at the time, I don't know what it's like anymore, but because of the care or lack of care they gave the housemates after they left, in terms of even just psychological support. Like, imagine this: you're in a house for I think he was in there for 100 days or something. You get thrown out. You get evicted straight onto a live show where you've become a household name. Everyone knows you. Thousands of people there.
There's merch.
There's absolutely.
Fucking,
and then the next morning, you are on breakfast radio across the country, talking about your experience when you potentially have never spoken to any media experience.
And I'd like to know who told you that.
Yeah, exactly. No, straight into other live shows. You can't walk down the street anymore. He
fucking huge, wasn't it?
And he said that they did not do a good job at the care afterwards, which I think is a
and again, what a great thing to raise awareness about. I think because people weren't doing that. I remember being very impressed by him as well for that. And again, I was studying journalism. I remember him on the show. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's like being critical, but like still, he showed that like you could still do it. You could still engage with it. Yeah, because there was such a pushback on the show and the format as this like new thing. We're like 25 years into reality TV and people are still talking about it like it's this new thing, which drives me nuts. But there was this pushback of people being like, that's like trash, it's unethical, it's all of this bad stuff, right? And I liked that he was like showing that you could be kind of like an intellectual person that's like interested in media, but like still looks at this as like, sure, it's like a different type of art, but it's still art. I don't know. I really appreciated that.
Totally. And he was a fan. He was a fan of the show before he went in. And so I think like us kind of had this expectation or what's the word? A hope that it would be, it would take its, it would use the fact that it had a voice, and use that for a power of good. And there are times that it didn't. I think it's about sport all the time. Things like AFL. I'm like, you have such a direct voice into, most people's domestic situation.
Yeah.
And the opportunity that presents to push the social conversation, I don't think should be underestimated. And I think I think they don't do that. And these big moments, like think about marriage equality, think about The Voice, and people will say, well, it shouldn't be political. I'm like, everything is fucking politics.
Exactly.
And why can't we have these big conversations?
Exactly.
You know?
And I think that's what the biggest thing that disappointed me about this year's season was exactly that. They avoided, they wanted to make it showmance forward, which, like, I understand that story. I understand. But it's like there's other story opportunities. There's enough love-based shows out there for people that are interested in that to watch.
And they did a love version of it in the reboot, and it flopped.
Yeah, the 7th one absolutely flopped.
Yeah.
And half of those people ended up on maths anyway, like afterwards. And then, you know,
the joy of it was, and I think continues to be, the fact that it is rando people who perhaps would not cross paths in a house. The Australian one, you can't smoke, and they would control the liquor intake. The UK one, you can smoke cigarettes on, and they do.
They've changed that now.
Oh, really?
They still can smoke, but not on camera.
Yeah, okay,
So there is we got one shot
smoking
of it.
area.
There is a smoking area that is still filmed, but like you can't see them in their smoke. You get like audio.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
Which I kind of love, but fuck, I loved when the Pete Burns season when they're smoking
my
inside
God.
on the couch. Oh my God. Anyway,
I think that
digress.
the Pete Burns, so of Dead or Alive,
Yeah.
You Spin Me Right Round. He was on the UK. He was on the UK season, and one of my favorite moments of any Big Brother is that they
The gorilla coat?
oh my God, that's probably number 2. No, but one of the challenges was just do what made you famous, and so he gets up there and does an a cappella version of You Spin Me Right Round, and just everyone else there is like sporting or a politician or whatever, and he's just got a skill. He's a singer, and it was the most incredible episode. Like
that was that season is unbelievable.
Yes,
and
so
and then them
unhinged.
taking his gorilla.
I know
coat
that's
away.
not even gorilla, and
Heaven.
It's so good, so good. And that, like, Big Brother UK was on the BBC. That's like public money going into it.
And then it like,
or was it BBC? No, it was Channel 4. Okay,
Channel
take that
4.
back. Yeah,
but
Channel 4.
Now it's on ITV.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Which whatever, but it's still doing that.
Yeah.
Like they've managed to. Yeah, things have changed, but they've still managed to keep, and I think it is casting and not being afraid of scandal.
Yeah.
They know that people watch it for the scandals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to expect that.
Someone
part
doesn't
of it.
walk or break a rule or something. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I think it's why, like, the casting. I think Drag Race UK is one of the best English language seasons because of the casting of it. Like, they really do cast a range of people that
Probably
represent
this
all
last
of.
season. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of filler.
That's all right, yeah.
You got to have some in between
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
No disrespect to the Queens.
No, they were amazing, but I did think I was like, I think Rue needs to have a year off. Let's be honest.
Let
It's
someone else
Rue.
have a
It's
go.
Rue. I have the problem with, so we're clear. Not
Well,
the
can you imagine how
girlies.
many they pump out a year? Like, what is he even doing?
It's wild.
But it represents, I think, a broad range of British, not British, of like the UK.
Yeah. They get, you're right. They do that corners of the nation.
Same with Canada. Like, I feel like I'm learning heaps about
this
the
this
breadth
current
of
season.
Canada.
You're watching
because-
this one?
Yeah.
Loving it.
Well, and you get
Sammy
to-
Landry.
Yes, oh my God. But even the accents in Canada,
Yes.
like, you're seeing this diversity of sound.
And we
is
had a
really
scene
amazing.
this week of 2 people speaking French to each other. and I was
Yes,
like,
yes.
how have we not had that until now?
That was a scandal on the UK show because Welsh is, I think, an official
There you go,
language in the UK, and there were 2 Welsh housemates who spoke Welsh to each other, and Big Brother told them off, and there was a big. It was like you have to
That's
speak
right,
English,
yeah.
and there was a big
Like
backlash
that
outside.
we're in our country speaking our language. Fuck
Exactly,
off.
and
Yeah.
they I think the housemates I think they had a bit of a about it, but it became a big thing publicly in the UK, and then they changed the rules. In the season, they were allowed to speak Welsh to each other, and they hired a translator who did the translating.
Yeah.
And I think I understand some of it from a intellectual, if you and I are speaking a language that the other housemates can't hear. But on the other hand,
rude,
yeah,
perhaps. But
yes.
also, hey,
Fuck, it's a bilingual country.
Yeah,
Why shouldn't they
exactly.
be able to speak that language? I think that those parts of the outside influencing a game show, I think are
Yeah.
really interesting things that happen when the show is being produced in real time,
Yeah.
rather than being filmed and then packaged up.
Yeah, and it always reflects what's happening in the country. Like this year's Big Brother UK, there was a sort of favourite to win housemate who was a trans man called Zila, who was an amazing housemate. A lot of people I know were watching the show just for him. And of course, with what's happening in that country at the moment, people politicise the show, and there was a bit of a concerted effort to vote him out, which happened. So that happened, and then there was one housemate who was like very proudly right wing in the house, whatever, and like, you know, great, but since then has gone on podcasts and stuff, and he's been like saying horrible things about Zila, and now he's unfortunately felt compelled to like reply, and it's just kind of like but like, and that's shithouse, but it's also what's happening in the UK at the moment, thanks to cunts like J.K. Rowling, and it's like that's what we need this show to be, and unfortunately I don't think 10 are interested in any way of doing that.
Have they committed to it again? Like, is it going to...
I think sort of unofficially, yeah. I mean, of
right.
course, I think we can all assume they're going to do it again. I read in a New Idea article, so take that with a pinch of salt, that they are wanting to do 2 seasons next year, but same length as this one, so 2 4-week seasons.
Yeah, call me a purist, but I just think...
I'm not into that. They need time to get loopy.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That was definitely part of it.
You'll Die as well. Where they've moved the house in Dreamworld, people can speak to them from one of the rides. I'm not like, there were people on
Like
one of the rides.
Screamo.
They were like, because one of the housemates was asleep all the time.
Yeah,
this
right.
woman Abiola, who was stunning, but they would be like, "Wake up, Abiola!" And then one of the housemates' family members went on the ride and spoke to him in the yard, and we were all just a bit like, "All right, come on, guys, let's."
Yeah, they have to be... That
Like,
isolation is part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that has to be a piece of it, that you you only have the people that you're in there with, and the weekly challenge that at the time decided whether you got good food or rations, and so people were losing their mind because they're eating porridge and rice.
This season they had access to the Chicken Treat app.
Yeah.
This season. You better believe they were ordering off the app.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They tried to do 1 week where it was like rations, and then they all had a sook. Like there was no punishment this year. Big Brother was like so soft.
Yeah, right.
I want to see them feel like they are,
you
in
need
prison effectively.
Yeah, you need the mean Big Brother, like that was part of it as well, is that this Big Brother character, who was played by a couple of different executive producers, was part of the experience too, and would say no to them about things, or would prompt them about things.
And there was judgments being made. That was the other part of the show that was interesting, was like the Big Brother character, when he had to like make calls on things. I always loved that. And it did feel fair, but then sometimes it didn't.
I remember having that, because they obviously had different voices.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but having a real passion for one of the Big Brother voices, and like when he came on, being like, "Oh, this is going to be a good one."
Yeah, there was a quite camp voice, I remember.
Apparently, they used to have the like a summit or a conference of like the production companies that made Big Brother around the world would meet up and have conversations about things like tasks and like what is working, what is making good television,
Great.
what is, I'm sure, how to protect the housemates and all those things. But
Yeah.
it was on in multiple countries,
Wow.
both English speaking and non-English speaking, at the same time for a really long period of time.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're still doing that, or just watching, because they pinched a few twists and stuff from the UK this year, and I was like, sure,
Seen it.
I was like, seen it, but also at least you're listening and trying to do some stuff.
I think one of my faves was
Yeah.
one of the early seasons where there were they split the house in half.
Season 3.
Yeah.
No, I think that was my favourite one, or one of, because that blew my mind, the 2 houses.
I think they figured it out very quickly because they could just yell at each other across the thing. But then one
The plywood.
night, they just moved the section of the
It was
house
cool.
apart and joined everyone
That
together.
was
Were they haves and
very
have-nots
cool.
or something? Some people had
Well,
luxury,
they might
other
have been,
people
yeah.
didn't.
I don't know. I think they were actually just 2 separate houses.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
I think that was the Tim Brunero season, maybe.
God, it must have.
No.
There must have been money for it too, you know.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have been cheap to run a essentially 24-hour production.
No.
The big live shows. I think the fact it was at Dreamworld probably
Yeah.
enabled it to continue because they had some of that infrastructure
Yeah.
there.
Oh, God,
like
I remember the
stage and
crane like lifting the wall out.
and it could go
overnight.
kind of. Yeah, I think it must not. Someone hasn't said yes to it for a long period of time and put money into it. It must have made the networks a lot of money. Those SMS, like 55 cents to send an SMS, someone was making a fuckload of
I
cash out
did
of
think
that.
it was interesting, the choice this year to pivot to a free vote. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to get people back into it.
I think how does the vote thing work when it's a competition in the house though? Like it's the OG version of it was they were just living their lives and maybe competing and winning challenges or whatever, but it really just was how the public perceived them based on how the show was produced essentially. I can't imagine like putting together it's so much more produced now because it has to rate, right? It has to do that. But then back then, like a conversation would come up that could totally steer a week's worth of dialogue or a couple of days worth of dialogue that they either didn't cover or didn't want to cover because they'd started a storyline a few days before that needed to kind of find its end. I was reminded this morning about one of the other big scandals, which I can't remember how much we were involved in, but I'm sure a lot, was Belinda Gate. Do you remember Belinda Gate?
Oh my God.
So this is a fucked story where basically Belinda, one of the housemates in the early season, her sister was involved in a gay bashing where a guy was killed in Queensland, and she was obviously a bit fucked about it, and she disclosed to some of the housemates very early in the morning what had happened, and she used
on the live stream.
and she used her sister's name, but I think her sister was a minor at the time, or it was like, or the guy who was killed was a minor. It was a very like
Child.
it's illegal essentially, and they shut down the live stream for a number of hours. The official Big Brother website had a forum for the first few years that got shut down and never came back because they couldn't stay on top of
Which no one would have been on that anyway.
Yeah, they're all over with us. Yeah, and it's and they had to kind of address it. I think her sister ended up going to jail for like 6 or 7 years after the kind of case was closed. But this, they had no control really over what you can and can't talk about in there. I'm sure they gave them rules like you can't talk about this and you can't talk about that. But actually, what the conversation comes up. If you're a bit boozed, they didn't give them alcohol, and then did all of a sudden like
I wouldn't last a second.
I auditioned once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they would have done 2-second background check and been like, absolutely not.
It was. I didn't get very far, but it was. It started with like big group auditions at the convention centre in WA, and then they would play maybe like theatre sporty type things, and there were heaps of people with clipboards kind of watching you. You had a number like a marathon, and then not that I've ran in a marathon, and then they would cut some people that just like come around and say thank you, no thanks, thank you, no thanks, and then I definitely got like a few
thank yous, and then
just a no. I remember being in a big circle playing that like nap game,
and then a representative from 3
oh my God.
came in and was
we
like,
know who you
absolutely
are.
not.
Yeah. But it was an interesting like they really just did. It's like the Australian Idol model. They were like everyone come and we'll find interesting people.
What was the outcome of Belinda Gate? Did she get removed or something? Or
she didn't, no. And I think they just had to shut down the conversation.
Yeah.
I think they had a very legalese way to talk about it. But it was something that happened in the house that they weren't able to cover for legal reasons. Like, how could you have expected that, you know? There was also another season where one of the housemates had a stillbirth at some point prior to. And then they did a fucking challenge where they brought those fake plastic babies in.
They used to do that a lot.
And
yeah.
obviously it fucked her up and she was very triggered by the situation. And then the producers came out and were like, she told us she was over it. But I looked this up the morning. The exec producer did come out after it and say, we could have made a better decision there.
That's good.
Yeah. What is that? Like, can you... The number of people, again, who must have had to sign off on that.
Yeah.
To go...
Oh, and
That
you're
is
telling me
so
they
cooked.
didn't know and hope that there would be
Exactly.
some come on now.
Well, they said we wanted her to, talk about the situation and, it be a learning experience. Like, get fucked.
Yeah. And
that's not good enough.
I know.
That's not
no,
good
you're
enough.
right. And that's why it was so hard to hear through your pod and everything about how much there was this tension between like wanting the fans included and involved and stuff, but like, when they were being called out for stuff, they would kind of turn their back at times.
Yeah,
so I can imagine it would have been a really tough thing for you to do.
I remember feeling like you
were like Media Watch.
Yeah, yes, totally.
Or like, I don't know, you were like some sort of ethical watchdog.
I remember feeling like they thought we hated it and we were doing it to tear it down, but it really...
No.
And there were times where I'm sure we did for the gag.
Yeah.
But it was because of a deep love of this thing and being a very online queer teen in Perth, very isolating place, not much of a community out there. I found some community online in the fandom, which I'm sure is a lot of people's experience with TV, especially reality TV. And it had a big part in my upbringing, I guess,
totally.
in seeing the world, because I didn't see people like that in my everyday. And I'm grateful for that, because I think I saw the world that I wouldn't have seen in my little humble suburban Perth bedroom. Yeah, sharing like teenager like being so it was a wild time.
Oh, it's good. Oh my god. DGH. Thank you so much for indulging me.
My pleasure. I could talk about this until
I know. I'm like I actually have many more questions. Maybe we'll get you back on. We'll do part 2 or something.
Yeah.
But my last question for you is, you talk about your love for Gretel. Will you be touching down on the Traders Australia 2026?
What are you talking about?
Gretel is the host.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Stunning. I'm glad she's back.
Have you not seen the cast?
No, okay. Not at all.
Get ready to have your mind blown. So 10 are leaning into nostalgia.
Yeah, okay.
Let me just get it up because I don't want to miss anyone.
I have a deep passion for Gretel. Spoke to her on the phone once. She was not impressed with us either. A friend of mine got
you
one.
Spoke to her?
Yeah, so a friend of mine
won. My God, we buried the lead.
Yeah, a friend of mine won a kind of interview with her as like a kid journo thing, teen journo, and interviewed her and then let slip at the end, oh, my friend is like behind Big Brother. Yeah. And they called and I spoke to her very briefly on the phone and she was a bit like, yes, nice to meet you. And that was kind of it.
Oh my God. So yeah, she would have been like, so this is the cast.
Amazing author as well. Shout out to Gretel's books. She writes kids' books.
Oh, they're great books.
Yeah.
Amazing. This is the cast of The Traders Australia season 3. It's already been filmed.
Oh my God, Dicko. Wow.
Dicko and Cosima. So they're leaning into a bit of nostalgia. We've got Queen Kong and Reese Nicholson.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Tully.
Yes.
I heard there apparently were rumours they wanted Tim Dormer, but I don't know if she's doing well. Chrissy and Gamble from Housewives.
Yes.
A bunch of Survivor people.
Yep. Who's Lawson? I remember.
Lawson is from Made in Bondi.
Okay, yeah.
Menarche's from Aussie Shore.
Yep.
Who we love. Great cast. Like, I'm so excited about it. People were really like, oh, you've done the reality TV, like, scrap bin approach, but hey.
Great. They made great TV back then.
Alvin from MasterChef.
Yeah,
It's a real mixed bag.
And Gretel as host.
Gretel is the host.
Yeah, stunning.
And looking stunned. They've got her in like a real witchy
Great.
look.
Yeah.
So yeah, stoked for that.
Okay. Look, I'll be
Have
back.
I got you maybe interested to watch that?
Yeah, I love her. I think that she did an incredible job. I'd love to I'd love to have a conversation with her about what that time was. I'm sure she's spoken about it. The stories that she must have. Hey, this is the other thing. Like the
stories.
the things that I remember.
We
the
didn't even talk
scandals.
about Saxon.
Oh yes! Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes! Yeah. Even the Free the Refugees thing with Merlin, like that was so
that was huge,
progressive at the time, and the way that she handled a live protest on television. Like what other Australian host, anything, media personality has had to deal with a situation like that?
Sonia Kruger
would never
have. Like, I don't even know what
they would have just shut it down. Like they would have just shut the thing down.
She would have got out a tiny gun and just pointed it at Merlin. The cameras would have cut out.
Yeah. No, Sonia can get in the bin.
Yeah, big time. What a great place to end the pod. Sonia can get in the bin.
We were quite scandalised by her, I remember.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. This has been too much fun.
It's been a joy.
See you soon, babe.
See you soon.
Bye.